first half, Joe. It was really exciting.
Really exciting. Barcelona come out the traps and Yamal was getting on the ball. It looked like it was how many goals are they going to score? And the stadium noise flattened. Everything from a Barcelona perspective was a perfect start. And in the crucial moment, the game turned on. He said when Torres should have scored, great save, the nose, the breaking play. And I think that then your Coquets, Llorentes, the senior players got hold of it and they just said, right, let's just weather this next 5 minutes. And all of a sudden, they got back into the game. Lookman scored. But, you know, moments always, as players, you see pivotal moments. And I think that was pivotal, that breaking play. Yeah.
Should we take it back to 1-0, Jolien? Because it seemed like Joe was saying, it seemed like Lamine Yamal really set the tone and went out there after 4 minutes, scored.
Yeah, even before that, he created an opportunity for himself to about 30 seconds, and we spoke about him before the game, and he took on the responsibility and he understood what the pressure was going to be like, and all the good moments, pretty much all the good moments in the first half, he controlled and had a saying, and he said here, not just in possession, out of possession as well, working hard for the team, gets that, recognises his through on goal and does what he does best, which is finishing opportunity, Joe.
Yeah, again. Longley goes to go. But that ball there that is a fantastic ball. I think you see it from this angle here where he just spins it. A little bit of backspin invites him. The goalkeeper comes out. Maybe you can question him a little bit because he doesn't. He just sort of collapses. There's no real intensity. But Yamal just slides it underneath him. And in the first 20 minutes, he was blistering.
Yeah. This was only 20 minutes after 1-0. This is Ferran Torres making it 2-0, Jolien.
Yeah, again, great build-up play. And for me, I mentioned it before that Longley forces Ferran Torres to take an extra touch with a shove in his back, and then what a finish again. And this is when you're thinking, like Joe said, they're going to go on and score threes and fours.
Yeah. It did seem at that point, and Joe, I want to just pick up on something you said a minute ago, because it was just after this, so Fermin Lopez gets his injury, and that was an opportunity there as well, a good chance for him. It could have been 3-0 at that point, and the pace completely changed and slowed down.
Yeah, well, I think then the pin completely comes out of Atletico Madrid. They'll be stunned. Then it could have been 4 or 5. Barcelona will start dominating possession. But you've got to credit the players. Coquet and like I said, Llorente, I thought was outstanding all game. And you know, that's when you need experienced players. That's when you need to understand in moments like that. If they was a young, inexperienced team, they would have folded. But they're not that. They are grizzled. They're old. They're horrible to play against. And everything that they was tonight was enough to beat a young and exciting Barcelona team. But they got old man out of it.
What followed that moment was a highly significant goal from Ademola Lookman, who'd been a danger all game, hadn't he?
Yeah, again, nearly had an opportunity just before he scores, and again, it's similar to all the chances Barcelona can see. Their high line doesn't always work, and when you do get behind it, you tend to have a one-on-one with the goalie. And Koundé, can he get back? It's a hard time to get back because you're running the half length of the pitch. But again, Lookman, great finish, and he's been outstanding since he joined.
Again, we'll look, Jolien, at the goals and the sending offs, and they all come from similar positions to this, where it's this high line with Hansi Flick, right? And I know he won the Champions League 6 years ago during COVID, but I don't think he can do it against quality like that, because Atlético Madrid are not elite level quality. And the 3 moments in the game, the sending off last week, the sending off tonight, and the Lookman goal were all of Barca's own demise, defended in difficult positions. Jolien tell you better than anyone else in centre half. If you're the worst place to be on the halfway line and you've lost your marker.
That red card tonight, was that harsh for you, Jolien?
No, again, I don't think it was. I think there's contact, there's a foul, slightly naive. I think if you just run straight instead of trying to get the ball and trying to get in front of the forward, I don't think the contact's made. I think he can get in behind him without making contact, but like Joe said, I think it's the high line, it's the defensive setup that doesn't give yourself an opportunity. They're not all on the same line initially anyway, and it's a great ball. We've got to give a lot of credit to Llorente for making that pass, and then he gets his body between ball and man, which all good strikers do. And I know Koundé is getting back. He is, and you can see him getting close as he falls on the floor, but I still believe he gets a shot off. Yeah,
it'd be interesting to know how many times Barcelona have been caught out this season. I would imagine if you look at all of the goals they conceded, and they've been brilliant in La Liga, but at the top level, Diego Simeone is going to go, we know at some point in the game, if we stay in the game, we'll connect 2 or 3 passes and it'll be just so much space and you'll play it in. And they did it. And I don't think Hansi Flick can win another Champions League with that tactic. I think next season he has to change.
if you're Hansi Flick and you're looking back at these two games, you're seeing the 2 red cards, but you're also probably, especially from this leg, seeing all the chances that you had. And will you be kicking yourself, Joe?
Listen, and that's the thing. He'll be sitting there thinking, look at all these chances we've created, right, with these wonderful players. I think if you play, look at that. That's just, listen, forget tactics. That's 2 geniuses connecting with the ball, right? I think if you can afford to play 5 yards deeper, and this will still happen. We get great players on the ball, Joe, right?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think there's a question of their forward play. They score goals at will, so they're always going to create opportunities. They've got some of the most exciting talent in world football, but again, like Joe said, I think when you get to the latter stages of this competition, especially, their forward players are exciting as yours, and you have to respect them, and you can't just take away all the advantage that you may have as a defender and just create 1v1s, because it seems to be whenever they can see chances, not just goals, it's 1v1 on the goal.
Yeah. Ultimately, you have to be clinical in these kind of things, and Barcelona just weren't, Joe. Not enough, anyway.
And it was last year. It was the semi-final, wasn't it, against Inter Milan, where I think they scored 4 and conceded 5. Again, I just think with this group of players, you know, you look at your midfield, Gavi, your Pedri, your Olmos in that 10, you're going to dominate possession. You know, you don't have to have another extra body in there and the defender's 10 yards up. I think Pep's done it with Man City a little bit this year. Like, they just changed it slightly. It's a little bit deeper, and they look so much more comfortable. They're not getting caught like Barcelona right there.
Yeah. Well, that felt like a roller coaster to watch. What was it like to play in?
Yeah, it was a bit. Obviously going 2-0 down, and then, yeah, you know, but yeah, game of 2 halves in it, really. So now we stuck in there, we dug in there. Yeah, we got the win. Well, we didn't win tonight, but obviously we're through to the semi. So
You certainly are, which is the important part of all of this. But in that first half, when you went 2-0 down, there was then an injury. Did that just give you a minute to reset? Because in the first half, 2-0 down, there was a bit of an injury, and there was sort of a break in play, and it was a point where it felt like Barca were very much on top. Did it just give you a second to gather yourselves, to breathe? Because then quickly afterwards, you got the goal.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I say so. I think. You know, as the game's going on, obviously you're playing, and obviously the momentum and, you know, moments happen in the game. And like you said, the pause, and then we kind of, you know, switched back into gear, and we was able to, like, you know, create a few chances, and we got the goal. So yeah, we tried to continue in that vein in the second half as well.
OK, there we go, a little bit from Ademola Lookman. He's got a big semi-final coming up in the Champions League. If you guys had to put your money somewhere, would you say that Atletico could make it all the way to the finals? You're nodding your head, go on.
I just believe that's a tougher game for Arsenal. I don't say Arsenal can't win. I just think it's a tougher opponent, and the way they play is going to make them stop a little bit.
Joe?
I think Arsenal can beat Atletico. It can obviously go either way. It's a semi-final. They're both quality, but I think Arsenal are a better team.
You've also, look, Arsenal have got to get through Sporting Lisbon, and the fortress is not a fortress at the Emirates anymore. And it is also a very highly pressured moment in Arsenal season, guys, isn't it? Could you see them crumbling?
Well, yeah, obviously, I believe they go through. I believe they beat Sporting. But then off the back of the weekend's fixture against City, then who knows how that derails them if they don't get the points needed there. So, yeah, it's a pivotal moment for Arsenal over the next couple of weeks.
What do you think, Joe?
Of the Champions League, Arsenal, I think they can get to the final. And I don't think they can beat... In a final, anything can happen, but if you can ask me where I would put my money, I would back Bayern Munich or PSG to beat Arsenal in the final, but only just. But I do think Arsenal... I think a tide will turn at Arsenal soon, and they'll... I've backed them all the way for the league, and I still think they'll win the league.
And first semi-final, by the way, talking about all the semi-finals that they've been to, first semi-final in the Metropolitano. The other semi-finals were in the Vicente Calderón, their old stadium that would roar. It was a cauldron. And the Metropolitano, a lot of people, I didn't go to either. I saw the Vicente Calderón from outside, but a lot of people say the Vicente Calderón, you would feel the pressure right here. Metropolitano is a more modern stadium, but the Metropolitano was built for nights like this. They've had this stadium for what, 7 years, 6 years now? And it's been craving a moment like this. And they're finally back in a semi-final for the first time since 2017.
So true. And maybe their next path to the final as well. By the way, you're doing Open Cup tonight, right?
Yeah.
Big night?
In an hour and a half.
OK,
basically.
good.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Tonight, tomorrow.
Lots of football.
Yeah.
Just how we like it.
You'll be watching the Golazo show, huh?
Of course.
Yeah, US
I might
Open
even
Cup.
stay to watch.
Nice.
With you all. Thank you.
I heard you're hosting.
No.
Oh, no.
I think that's you.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you in a sec. Obviously, for Atleti then, Grell, how do you feel about their chances now moving forward in the tournament, getting over this big hurdle that is Barcelona tonight?
Who was it that made the point to me? I don't know if it was Nigel or Troy now. It's been a little bit of a long day. But one of them, they make a lot of great points, too. That's the other thing.
Very memorable.
I will say that I think if Arsenal, Arsenal is going to be the favorite to go through, and they would face the winner of this matchup between Barcelona and Atlético Madrid. And I think Arsenal would know how to prepare for Barcelona. I think probably one of the easier teams to prepare against. You're going to play against some of the best attacking players in the world, but you're going to have this moment, like Newcastle created many moments, where you can go at the ball, you break the pressure, you go wide and around, right? Yeah. Okay, fine. So that's easy to prepare for. It's not easy to play against, but it's easy to prepare for. Atletico Madrid, how do you prepare for them? Mm-hmm. They can play in different formations. They can play with different personnel. They can play in different transitions. They still defend okay. There was moments where they can do a lot better a job, but they have Lookman introduced to the team as well. I think they're more of an unpredictable team to play against.
Yeah, they can play with Sorloth through the middle. They can play with Griezmann. They can go 4-4-2. They can go 4-3-3. So I totally take your point. I think it was Nigel.
Yeah, we had that conversation, and because Grella made a point about who would suit Arsenal better, and I said for me, we talk about it so much. We all know Barcelona is easy to prepare against. Being all ex-players, I would love to play Barcelona. The game plan will be easy. We talked about how it is. Grella's done his Grella vision. Wide, balls in behind, they struggle. And that's how most of the goals have been scored against them. I said this Atletico Madrid side provides a difficult obstacle for Arsenal. You talk about a side like Xolo said, they're evolving. They've got Lookman in there. They're very hard to predict how they will play and how they will set up. So that's a difficult thing that Arsenal are going to face. It's not going to be as easy for Arsenal to prepare for Atletico Madrid as it would have been for Barcelona. If they play Barcelona, Arsenal would have been happy to say, right, you have the ball. We don't want to be ball dominant. We're fine. We've got the players that maybe like a Martinelli can run in behind, and we'll be happy for you to have the ball. We've got Zubimendi and Declan Rice in there. We'll pick and choose our moments. They can't do that with this Atletico Madrid side now, because there'll be times when they have the ball, and there'll be times when Atletico Madrid have the ball, and they've got different individuals now where it will make it a more difficult and interesting game.
This is all assuming Arsenal get through, right?
Very true, Troy. I like that. It's true. It's just saying. I mean, listen, they're in the driving seats.
I think the one thing that Cholo Simeone will be a little bit concerned with is the turnovers that we saw today, because you could pick out quite a few times where they could have just been better. It was a bit sloppy, wasn't it, at the back?
It was nervy. It was a little bit like they were just scared to take that moment on and be like, okay, let's play forward. Again, we was taught as kids, very, very young, if you're in danger, go long, put it in the channel. And for some reason now, the stop passes, if you're in danger, go back to the goalkeeper. Again, the first pass, they don't really see what's going on. And I think the big turning point of the game is the massive save from the goalkeeper on Torres when he kicks him in the face. But look, try to play out from the back, setting all of the traps, and this is the turning point for me. Again,
what's a save?
Thankfully, both players come out of this okay. But as you watch, if this goes in, this is 3-0. They're off to the races. It's over. But unfortunately, the keeper kicks Torres in the face, and his nose was all over the place.
What a ball that was, though. By
unbelievable. But it was all of. It wasn't Barcelona breaking you down. Was it? It wasn't Barcelona breaking you down. It was us turning the ball over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the point of it is, yes, okay, the execution of the pass is amazing, but also if you ask anyone in the room right now to play the ball with the outside of their foot into 40 yards of space, it's not that difficult to do. Because the turnover puts you in.
I think 3 of us could do it.
We're making it look we're making it seem like everybody could do what that young man did. No, that is
the point of the video was because of the turnover, they're not in shape. So you find Ferran Torres on the far side there alone. He's alone with the goalkeeper.
Would you have put your head on that ball, by the way, Grell?
1,000,000% no. Obviously, if I play Champions League, I didn't play Champions League. If I play Champions League, maybe I would think about it.
What?
He doesn't
He's basically saying he wouldn't have done it, but in that moment, he may have thought about doing it.
If you would do it at a professional level, you're not going to do it in the Champions League level. Let's be real. That's nonsense. You should have done that in the league. If you ain't going to do that in the league game, you're not going to do that in the Champions League.
I didn't get paid enough to go break my nose and knock my teeth out.
I think on the flip side to it, though, with Atletico Madrid at this moment in time, they will be looking at hoping that Arsenal go through, because it can be a game where they go, okay, you have the ball, we'll back off, and we try and do the same game plan, hit you on the counter. But if they make those mistakes that you've seen there against Arsenal, even though Arsenal wobble, Arsenal are known for going, right, we don't have to be great, you make a mistake, and then we'll kill you. Yeah. I think if they played that game against Arsenal, they'd lose 3 or 4 now.
Do you trust Arsenal up top that they're clinical enough to take those chances? That's the question as well.
Yeah, I do at this moment in time.